Hey, this is MassX with a brand new One Punch Man, the strongest video. And yes, our next SSR Plus is out as of today. That is Puri-Puri Prisoner. Did a previous video on why most people probably will not be pulling for this, but we'll go ahead and have my pulls in the background. We'll go through the character, we'll do a little gameplay, and talk about, if you do get this character, what your goals should be. Now, this character is a grappler. Yes, more grapplers, finally. Okay. Hero, back row, enchant, continuous resistance. This character is going to not change the meta, but it's going to at least give a little bit more creativity. And we know that how stale things are right now. And quite honestly, it's time. We just need to get this over with and get to the next phase of this game, since they've mucked up the character releases and the orders. But let's try to stay positive and let's go through this character real quickly. Then we're going to talk about how to use him, team builds, do a little gameplay, go from there. But first off, the basic attack. As always, 99.9% of the time we could care less about this, but he has an okay basic attack. Not that you'll be running it, and we'll talk about that more later, but heals an allied target equal to 120% of attack. Now, the ultimate for this character attacks a single target in the back row with 2 combo strikes equal to 750% attack damage. Mind you, of course, we don't have the keepsake, nor is it 5p at this point. Even I can't create that type of miracle. Charm the main target. The target immediately be out of battle and uses a portion of their ultimate and passive effects to attack random enemies, returning to position at the end of the character's turn. Now for the passive, which I absolutely love. When the battle begins, decrease the DOT boost of all enemies by 50%. Lasting for the whole battle, immune to charm, permanently increases HP by a scaling number. Then the awaken passive. Increase the non-crit damage reduction of all allies by 40%, lasting for 3 turns. After taking action, makes the entire target column permanently disabled, unable to deal follow-up, consecutive follow-up, or combined follow-up. So a very interesting character. Really, he is a support character for all intensive purposes. Now, when you're building this character, of course, you are going to be focusing on attack. That's what you care about the most. In gearing this character, you're going to be gearing it pure attack percent. You can add a speed in there if you feel necessary. Why? You are going to want this character to go sooner rather than later, so consider that. So he's going to be set up with a speedster, most likely, marrying on what your team build is. You're going to be using sets. You could use anything with attack, but of course you're going to get a little bit more speed if you use any of the sets that give even a boost of speed, like fiery, like ninja, etc. Sets that are going to give some speed, or on the alternative, you can always use the speed stat, because if you don't have a set of ninja or fiery, etc. Why? Because you do want them to go sooner than later, if at all possible. That is the best case scenario. Hopefully you're setting them up to take out the prime DPS character on the opponent's team if they're on the back row. If they're not, then you're going to be focusing on who's the next best character you're going to want to go after. And of course, your buff gears are going to be the same, all attack percentage. You can, on your first position buff here, be it hero buff gear, could go for speed on that too, as an alternate to if you don't pull well with attack percentages. But really, this character is about attack. Now, when you do 5P this character, if you choose to, you're going to get that decrease of the DOT boost of all enemies by 60%. So you get an extra 10%, which is very nice. And if you put the keepsake on this character, that single target in the back row with the 2 combo strikes, it's going to go to 900% attack, which is a 150% attack increase, which is actually pretty good. And on top of that, you're going to get, there is a 100% chance to inflict stun on the target for 1 turn also. That can actually be very productive, especially if you know how teams are dropping right and left, and if it's the last character and they can get stunned since they can't go out of battle at that point. But again, the charm is what is really the focal point for this character, and so it's the effect of trying to get some control on the field early on. Now, with your team setups with this character, of course, you can always go at Drive Knight, so you can beef him up, so you know he's going to be longer on the field, hopefully. But also, don't second guess using the Geru Core. And why? Well, I guess you don't have to use a Geru Core, but it'd be preferred. Because the passive on Geru with the reduction of the 40% attack, combining that with the DOT boost for enemies is nice, that combo together. So something you may want to try out. I'm going to do some testing. I'll have a follow-up video, but again, I have to wait for the keepsake to come out, etc., and to finish building up the character. We're going to go ahead and throw him into some Peak Arena just so you can see the character in action. And then we can talk about some specific team builds also with him after this is completed, and I can just kind of show you guys on the team chart when you're setting up your teams how to go ahead and what you're probably looking at most likely when playing this character, if you're going to be playing him. But you know, the only reason why I'm looking forward to him is just to be able to mix things up. You know, the game is stale, so there he goes, boom. So what will happen is, of course, Atomic Samurai will run off the field at some point here. Whoop, I'm gone. And so, yeah, I mean, it can go really well. Of course, my PPP is not built up very well, so he already went kaplunk off the field at this point. But again, I would trade him for AOS anytime, falling off. So looking at team builds, it's really going to matter what you're going for. So if we were going to first go off, let's just say we were going to use a Geru Core instead, you do have more options going with that, of course, because with that core, you're going to be looking at only needing 2 reds, 2 purples, etc. So what most likely most are going to do is they're going to take out TTM, I talked about previously. His time is going to be wavering anyway with Super Alloy coming, so you're going to look at something like this, possibly like that. So he is definitely going second, and that's going to be very effective team. Now with Drive Knight, of course, it changes things up a little bit. Well, I guess maybe it doesn't change things up because we're so limited with what we're going to use, but you're going to do something very similar with Drive Knight. You're going to want PPP on your line with whoever your speedster is. So if you're using Flashy Flash, you're going to want something probably more like this. If you have Zombie Man, of course, then you're going to be going something along these lines. Now, I mean, it begs the question. For right now, Phoenix Man, in my opinion, is going to be required, or Mel's, but I see Phoenix Man being a better option right now if you're going to go this way. But is it going to be better than running TTM? Good question. I don't know until I test it. It's going to really matter on how effective PPP is, how long he can stay on the field, etc. If you can get yours to do enough damage and charm every round and survive, then it may be a better option. If that character isn't for you, then of course whoever is going to be better, i.e. for me, TTM and PPP is probably going to be on a second or third tier team, which is not what most people want to hear with a brand new release of a character. But again, it's the reality of the situation. This character is not necessary. In a fun world, we would be doing something like this using Giro, which I do plan on testing out, and no Phoenix Man, and seeing if with enough silence and charm that you can dismantle the field quick enough where it could be a lot of fun to play. Something that I would like to do, honestly, just for some fun. But we'll just have to see. I'm going to mess around. I'll do a couple different comps. I'll do some videos. Once the keepsake drops, once I get them up high enough, I'm less concerned about 5P. Just would like to have the keepsake for a little extra bonus. And of course, he's got to get built up right now. He's just, day one. And what's going to happen is if I want to try to main team him and do some really creative comps, I'm going to have to, of course, strip one of my top 5 instead. But it will be fun. At least it's something more interesting to do. Like I said, to me, this game is just incredibly stale right now. And, we've got to hope that they step up. I'm not holding my breath. I think January and February are going to be lackluster months. I think March on is when we're going to see some significant changes. But again, they don't tell us anything anymore. And as we saw, the update for the end of the year for the game was garbage. They didn't do anything. So if you're pulling on PPP, good luck. If you're not, you're probably in the contingency of smart people, because honestly, if I had to choose, I would be going after MK and Super Alloy way before this character ever would show up. So if you're hoarding, good for you. You're going to be in a much better state when those characters drop, and of course our first URs. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.